Yeah, we are back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is Click and Cliff coming at you with another Beyond Click and Cliff. This is just a podcast where I talk about different things, what's on my mind, life experiences, stories, whatever comes to heart that I want to talk about. And I just have a little podcast, a little talk with y'all about it. And some may be my own opinions, of course, or mainly all my opinions. Um, But I like to tell life stories, and this is no different. This is something for you to listen to while you work, you play, do whatever you do. Set me on in the background, or as you clean house, drive, work, doing whatever you're doing. Hopefully, I can make you laugh, smile, maybe even laugh. You can even laugh at me if you want. Uh, Again, I do appreciate each and every one of y'all that has subscribed to this channel and listened to the podcast. Hope you've been enjoying them as I've been enjoying making them. So, yeah, last week I talked about Easter memories. We got through Easter. I hope y'all had a good Easter, had a good day at least. I didn't do nothing but sleep. My wife had to work, and so I took the day to myself and just rested. Uh, but yeah, hope y'all had a good Easter weekend. Made some wonderful memories. I hope. This week I kind of want to just talk. I've been watching Straight Outlaws. I know it's an old show. I watched it when they were actually putting them out, but now I went back and watched them. I started watching them, and I used to love cars. Cars were awesome. Um, and I used to dream to be a drag racer on the streets. I wanted to do that when I was young. Just it takes a lot of money to get them type of cars to do that. But I was watching it, brought back memories of me and my childhood, and I go, hey, I want to talk about that today on the podcast. If you're a child listening, do not try this at home. Don't do it. Don't do this. But I'm going to tell you a story or two about my experiences. But anyway, I was watching the show, and they were drag racing down the street, and they had a top 10 list. We didn't have a list. We just raced just for money. But when I turned 16, I was able to purchase my first vehicle, and it was a Chevy S10, long bed, 2-wheel drive. Just had a 6-cylinder in it. Um, wasn't no awesome vehicle. I mean, it wasn't like a roadster, a hot rod, or anything like that. It was just a truck. I paid for $2,000, and the guy I bought it off of let me do it in payments. So let's get it straight. It wasn't no off the lot truck. It wasn't. There was no Edelbrock anything in that motor. It was all factory and whatever I could afford to put in it. Unleaded gas, not nothing special. No, just regular carburetor. It was a piece. Okay, it was just a truck that meant for driving easily. Well, but I love cars. I love cars growing up. I love looking at them, driving them, and really especially loved racing them. I mean, I put a roll cage in the back of in the on the bed. I went and got me some aluminum wheels to put on that, and some slicks. Not really slicks, but they were made for racing in a 6-cylinder. But hey, we have to start somewhere, right? Correct? we had to start somewhere. And my biggest plan was to take out that V6 and drop a V8 in there, even though if I had to cut the fender wheels a little bit. I was going to put a V8 in there and lower it a little bit, and I would have, then maybe we can do something. But no. Well, me and my buddies were all the same way. We had trucks, and we had an old highway outside of town that turned into a back road, but it was old business 60. And we would sit up there. We have a guy down there making sure it was clear. We had CBs, okay? We had the CBs in our vehicles where we can communicate with one another, okay? So they'll tell us as the coast is clear, and then we raced. I may have won one or two, but never, like, I lost a lot of races because it was a 4-speed. Okay, it was just a 4-speed S10, okay? I mean, there was nothing special. We'd race them almost every weekend, just having fun. We grab our little bit of money we have and bet $5 a race. So I usually was the one paying out, okay? I was the one who always giving the money away because I very seldom won. But it was fun. The adrenaline was there. It was fun, okay? And then one day we decided that we'll invite another town on my lands. This is horrible. I mean, I think the 405 or Seattle's got this idea from us. I'm just playing. I'm just joking. Our list wasn't really a list. It was just 5 of us that was always there doing it. And we never did rankings. So our list was 5 people. It didn't matter which one. But we raced another town. They had their... I tell you what, some of these guys meant business. They brought in their cars and had these big old motors and blowers on them and these wide tires in the back. And I'm like, we have no chance. We are hicks and hillbillies just driving regular vehicles and racing them. But it was the fun of the thing. We knew we weren't going to win, but it was fun just to say we did it. I tell you what, that one time, a friend of mine he had an S10 as well, but it was a short bed, and he took off one with a guy, and he took the ditch. And we weren't going 45 miles an hour. He had the thing going as fast as that little truck can go. I mean, the mouse was running hard that day. He flipped it, and luckily he didn't get hurt. I mean, everybody was fine. But the truck wasn't. He totaled his truck, and you kind of take a step back after that. You're like, dude, we don't have the money because now he ain't got a truck. I mean, he don't have a grocery getter. That was his truck that he went to work with, school with, and everything. He didn't have a backup car. Oh, it was horrible. So we all kind of took a break from that, but it was a fun time for real. Part of my dog in the background. We still got work in the shop going on, and he's hearing them. He's barking, so I apologize real quick. So you may hear Bo every now and then bark. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun times. I loved that truck, and I ended up blowing the motor racing. That little 600 gave it all good. He went choo-chooed up the hill, and he didn't make it up that hill. So I had to sit there and save money up to buy a new motor for my truck. And after you start doing that, it's like, do I really want to keep doing this? Because I don't have enough money to keep up. And you watch the shows, you see what kind of vehicles they have and what's in them, it's a lot of money, time, and effort. And I'm not a mechanic, guys. I know the bare minimum. I put in a motor before. It may not have been the correct way, but I did it. Clutches I put in, alternators, air conditioning pump. I mean, I can do a little bit of stuff, but I can't. I've never rebuilt a motor or rebuilt the transmission or rear end. I have put a new drive shaft in, or U-bolts, and I changed brakes, oil, stuff like that I've done. I never took down a motor and rebuilt it and none of that. Because I don't have the facility for it and I didn't have the tools and I didn't have the brain power. Because the only way I knew how to fix a vehicle was watch how I took it off and put the other one on the exact way I took the other one off. That's how I learned how to do it. And it still got confusing. Especially got wires now. Back then, when I first started driving, you could fix my dad's truck with coat hangers and fence wire. That's how simple stuff was made back then. Now it's like performing surgery. You gotta have special tools, and I didn't have special tools. I had a box of Craftsman tools, and that's what I used. But I learned how to do that kind of stuff. But as far as I put a new motor in my truck, and that was a lot of work. Me and my dad was doing it, and it was a little hectic sometimes. It was hard to do, but we got it done. Drove that truck for a few years. I don't know how many times I got it, but I ended up selling it for the same amount of money I paid for it. So I got my money back, and I got to drive it for a couple of years. I went on and got me a Toyota Tundra. It wasn't a Tundra, but it was. They call it a 3/4 ton, but it was a small Toyota pickup. Okay, 4-wheel drive. Well, it looked like a 4-wheel drive because the 4-wheel drive was out of it, but you can still drive around in 2-wheel drive. Yeah, I didn't buy a new vehicle until I got married and out of high school. But and my dad hated going 4-wheel drive. He did not like me going mudding because you tear up stuff, right? Well, I take that Toyota. We have this thing called the mines. It used to be a lead mine where I lived. And it's since shut down, but the property's still there and it's full of mud. And me and my friends will sneak behind the gate in our trucks and go four-wheeling. I almost got stuck hundreds of times. Almost got stuck. And I thought I'd be cute. You know, some of that wouldn't think I went mudding. I went to a car wash and washed the truck. You know, when you're a kid trying to get away with something, there's always something that will tell on yourself, and it sure did. And that truck was so clean. I was pulling out of the mines, and we were by the car dealership, and I twisted off the drive shaft. I said, crap. I'm going, well, hey, you know what? I washed this truck. He ain't going to know that one mudding. Went to the car. This is back before cell phones was even in use. Went back to the car dealership, used the phone, called Dad. Hey, you want to come get me? Truck broke down. So he drove out there. He went down, looked underneath the truck. Guess where one place I didn't wash the truck at? Just take a wild guess. Yes, it was underneath the truck. I did not wash that. And it was covered in mud. And Dad goes, where you been? What do you mean? I've just been driving. He goes, why is the bottom of the truck covered in mud? And I'm like, and that's when I go, dang. Yeah, well, I guess I better tell him what happened. So I told him where I was. And he just shook his head. And he goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. I mean, I told you not to go out. This is what happens. And I said, I know. I should have listened, but I didn't listen. But I should have. So, you know, that was an experience. We fixed that. And I'm glad, it wasn't nothing else. But I had a few experiences. I know when before I was 16, my dad had a truck, and I was wanting to learn how to drive and stuff. And I mean, I drove the farm truck around in the field all day. I want to take my dad's truck around the country block. So I got in my dad's truck, started driving, and next thing I know, it broke. It just shuts off on me. I'm like, oh no, I didn't run out of gas. So I had to call Dad, and he came over, and I guess I blew the engine. He was not happy with me. Not happy. So, yeah, that was my experience with vehicles, racing, driving. Experience of mine. I have since grown up. I don't race because I know that I can't afford to keep putting money in vehicles, and one I have now has got to last me for a while. So, yeah, good experience. I think. I don't know. I learned lessons. I did learn how to repair a vehicle. I learned how to, what I should and should not do in a vehicle. So it's a learning experience, and I'm glad that I got to to experience that. So, but yeah, have y'all ever done that? I mean, have you guys ever done anything like that? Um, I had a friend of mine that had a Ford Probe, and he wasn't the racing type, but he liked, you know, shining it up and putting neon lights on the bottom and lowering it and these big old speakers. And when you hear the thump, 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 you couldn't really hear the music, but you just felt the thump in the car seat. You sit there and it shakes. I mean, it was loud and obnoxious, but I guess back when you were a kid, you kind of enjoyed that kind of stuff, right? I guess I did, kind of. I didn't really go for the loudspeakers and the bass thing and neon lights on the bottom of the car. It wasn't really my thing. Yeah, I guess I'm a redneck. I like trucks, racing, mudding, but I didn't like that kind of stuff. I mean, now some of it looked cool, but I know if I had a car like that, it'd be broke every day. Going down the roads I had to go down every day, I would bust them neon lights, and the car would bottom out. So it wasn't my kind of thing, but they were cool. A friend of mine had it, and I did cruise around with him. We used to go to McDonald's to get water, and we thought we were the king of the crop. We our town had we cruised, what we call cruising in town. We had a cruise strip, and we cruised every Friday and Saturday night. We'd sit at the park. That was the end of the loop. You had the city park, drive up a couple miles to the stoplight, hang around, go all the way to the end of town, get in a parking lot, turn around, and that was your loop. And we cruised around there all the time. It's fun stuff. It was fun. Good times. But guys, that was my cruising, racing, mudding experience. Guys, I'm going to leave this one with you today. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Be somebody's darkest cloud. Somebody could be having a bad day. A hello from you would make the day a whole lot better. Be good to one another. Do unto others that you want done yourself. Be nice. This world can definitely need some more niceness in it. And maybe me and you can start the trend. Everything's a trendy thing these days. Maybe we can start that trend. But guys, until the next one, have a good one. Be safe. Have fun. Thank you. Talk to you later.